Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel on YouTube, JD's Wide World of Flight, Fishing, and Tying. Today, I'm going to introduce you to an old set of footage, which is from my Volume 1 of Jack Dennis and Friends DVD. And it's going to feature a very dear friend of mine by the name of Emmett Heath. And Emmett Heath has been given a lot of credit as the founding father of the Chernobyl ant, and he's going to tie one of the original ones. But it's kind of a combination of guides on the Green River in Utah back in the late 80s that got exposed to the foam type imitations by kind of an accident. Uh, and I'm going to tell you the story. There was a group from Hollywood by a producer by the name of Glenn Larson had brought this group to fish with Emmett in the Western River fly fishing guides. And it was during the cicada hatch. And at that time, we were just understanding, the cicadas and what their relationship were to the trout of the Green River. And we really didn't have any imitations. We were using a lot of stone flies. And I was lucky enough that Doug Swisher had sent me some Madam X's, him and John Fouts, to try out. And it was the first dry fly that I had seen with rubber legs on it. We'd had the girdle bugs, and we had some of the other yuck bugs, all kinds of different rubber leg nymphs. But this was a bullet head fly, a great design. And unfortunately, what had happened is that he didn't send us enough. There were 2 dozen in the box, and we were catching fish like you wouldn't believe. There were 6 boats, and we're just going crazy. And all of a sudden, we're out of flies, and it's only noon. And this Hollywood producer who had come into at that time, the Green River Lodge was just a very small operation, and he was doing all kinds of television shows. Magnum PI was one of them. And we had all these dishes. This was long before the dishes were on houses. And in this little motel. And it was quite a scene. And we were there for several days, and Emmett and I had always carried a, don't ask me why, but a streamside kit for emergencies. And he said, anybody who can get me some more of those flies, I'll pay $100 a fly. Well, out came our fly tying kits. And we started trying to duplicate the Madam X and realized that neither one of us had any deer hair. And that, for both of us, that was like a sin. You got to have deer hair in those days. So Emmett had been tying some smallmouth bass flies, as there was some great fishing in Flaming Gorge Reservoir, and he had some foam. And he said, well, why don't we use this foam to replace the deer hair? And so we made a head out of foam, and then kind of continued on with it, and we tied up 6 each, collected our money. That was a lot of money back in those days. He just whipped it right out on the stream, and we were pretty excited. So after the third day of fishing, we were whipping out all kinds of imitations, and the guides would get together at the trailers and tie in the night, and out of that came the Chernobyl ant. One of the guides, Alan Woolley's son, looked at that and said, that's a Chernobyl ant, and that's how it got its name. And I really contributed to all those wonderful guides that put their input, and a lot of different foam patterns, including my very popular Amy's ant, came out of this. And, I got to go around the world and watch people in New Zealand and Australia and Africa use these crazy foam flies. But the real true origin, not that somebody didn't tie one, I'm not a great believer in inventing flies. It's concepts, giving it a name, and what better name could you consider? But Emmett is really the godfather of the guides. He is. This was a long time ago. He's a big guy, loves to row, and it's just one of my dearest friends. And I'm going to introduce you now to Emmett as he ties the kind of the first one in the way it was produced before it became the known Chernobyl ant and the literally hundreds of foam patterns since then. Enjoy, my friend Emmett. Hello, I'm Jack Dennis, but better known to my friends as JD, which is the new title of our new YouTube fly fishing and tying channel, JD's Wide World of Fly Fishing and Tying. And that's what it's going to be about. We have a special focus on history because I've been filming for, 50 years. There's a lot of 50 years of marriage this year, 50 years of working with Umpqua feather merchants, and 50 years for our very first book, Jack Dennis's Western Trout Fly Tying Manual. But today I'm going to bring you some history. And by the way, I hope you push the subscribe button, as I will announce on our network when a new video has been posted. But let's take a look at what we're going to look at today, part one, which is done by 3M back when they owned Scientific Anglers. And they did a wonderful job of producing really the first fly fishing video. And this one was called The Anatomy of a Trout String, and was filmed in various places. But it captures the true spirit of fly fishing, and it was done on film, which was a big undertaking, instead of the video where things just don't always happen the way in live camera you'd like them to. So it was a costly production, but it'll get the feeling of what a first video experience, although this was shot in film, which retains a beautiful artistic quality that's really hard to retain in lots of videos. But anyway, Rick Hafley, a very brilliant fly fishing expert. This was filmed in about 1982, 83, and he was an entomologist besides a fly fishing author, and very involved in the I call it the growth of fly fishing. So enjoy the first step. I think you're going to find out whether you're an expert or a beginner, that'll be something for everybody. Take care, and again, subscribe to our channel.
Well, hello. You can see I'm in my fly tying den. For the last 20 years, I've had a lot of fun in this room, tying flies on this desk, and I've had a lot of friends drop over and share ideas. You know, you never know all about fly tying, no matter how many years you've been in it. And I've learned a lot from my friends. They always have a fly or two that's new and different. And we sit around and tie and tell stories and share ideas. I thought it would be neat to put it into a book. So a couple of years ago, I authored a new book that featured my friends. I featured 18 of my friends in this book. You might say, wait a minute, Dennis, do you have 18 friends? Well, I'm pretty lucky. Friends are a treasure. I put their thoughts, their favorite flies, and their ideas in this book. And I thought it might be fun to bring them into my den, back where they shared so many times with me, and had them tie these flies for you. They'll show you their techniques, their ideas, and their flies. and you'll learn a little bit more about them. So come join me. I'm Jack Dennis, and these are my friends. Well, I see it's here. In a few minutes, a very large friend of mine is going to stop in, and I got a present for him. It's a shirt from Woolrich. They made this special for Emmett because Emmett's a big guy. Yes, Emmett Heath. Many of you know him as the Dean of the Green River in Utah. Emmett was Fly Rod and Reel's Guide of the Year a number of years back. And I might say, he's large in stature, but boy, he can tie some beautiful flies. Now that particular shirt, I'm sure, would not fit me. But I'm hoping it's going to fit Emmett. Double extra large, we'll have to see. Emmett's guided in the Jackson Hole 1 fly. And he's brought some of the patterns from Utah up and found that they really worked well. One is the Chernobyl ant, and Emmett's going to tie it for you.
Wow, it's about time. That looks pretty good, Jack. Let's see. Uh-oh, I can tell right now. Maybe we better go up a size. No, I'm not even going to try it. No, I'm not going to try it, Jack. Thanks a lot, but you might have to go to Omar the tent maker after this. Well, let's forget the shirt and maybe start tying. Okay, the Chernobyl ant. Very simple fly to tie. It imitates what we call a Mormon cricket, which is a gigantic cricket down on the Green River. That was its origin, but then we came to find that it worked so well all through the year, it became our #1 attractor dry fly along the Green. And now it's spreading out all through. It's a very simple pattern, and we will just begin. We'll use kind of an orange thread because the legs, the underbody, is coated with orange on these insects. Now, whichever you're trying to imitate, be it a hopper or anything else of this size and that will float this big, you use those colors. You incorporate those colors into it. We like to use the different foams for the body and for the sight, which you can see. And we don't like to tie it in. We don't like to really pin the foam down very much. We like it sticking up so that it will float. It'll hold its floating properties much better that way. We're going to tie several different segments. We have to get back towards the back so we can create the middle and the back section. We started right at the front, which is a little out of the ordinary for a lot of flies. And one thing that you do on this is create segments so that you can tie between those, the rubber legs we're going to put on it. But like I say, very, very simple. You can tie a bunch in one setting, which is perfect for the guides. Now here's our body. It's finished. Now all we need to do is put on the legs. We've got 2 sets of legs we're going to put on. We'll just pin that one down on one side. Slip another one in. You can put these in both at the same time if you'd like, and then situate them where you want them. One hint so that they will stay spreading out is don't cinch it down really tight. If you do cinch it down in the middle, do a couple of loose turns towards the back legs and towards the front. And then cinch it again a little tighter in the middle of it. That way they'll spread out instead of clamping together. Okay, now very simply, to get up to this front segment, we just run the thread up the hook, pin it with your finger, and then start on the front segment. And then we'll just repeat that same step by putting the legs on the front. You can put them on very loosely to begin with. And that way you can pull them to the right length. Now, one thing we like to do is vary the color in the legs. If a lot of people use these patterns on one river, the fish really get used to seeing them. So we change the length of our legs, we change the color of the legs. It seems to do the trick to show them just enough different to entice the fish again a little bit more. Now this fly, like I say, was originated to imitate a great big Mormon cricket that migrates along the Green River. It doesn't hit there every year, but there are enough hoppers, enough crickets, enough other of the bigger insects that it just seems to work year-round. Then we have the cicada, which is you know, one of our famous hatches on the Green, and this does a good trick for that too. We're almost done. We've got the body, we've got the legs, but being a black fly, you just can't see it, so we have to get a post in there. We'll just slip that right on this front segment, right between the front legs, right on top. Very simply, you could do a loop if you wanted, you could do anything you want, but it's all unnecessary. Just a few good tight turns. Clip that. Now we'll just slide right up front and slap a whip finish on it. You want to make sure you coat the around the eye of the hook so that you don't leave any gap there to catch your line or anything. And there's our fly. Ugly as sin, but works very, very well. And with these legs at different lengths, it can really move around, create a lot of life in the insect.